Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. It is Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, the number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I'm Nigel Seeley. This is my final day over here in Miami. And joining me is my co-host and our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Good morning to you, Sean. And it is a very good morning after the results yesterday over here in Miami.
It is. It's afternoon now, but I'll gloss over that. It's morning for you. It's early morning there, and it's 9:30 or something, 9:30.
Yeah, I was. It's 9:20, and I'm sorry I left you waiting for 20 minutes. I got the timings wrong, but there you go. I was engrossed in the Looney Tunes, the cartoon network that was being played, and now I've got my own version of Looney Tunes with you and producer John. So there you go. How are you, mate? What a good night, though.
I say I'm fine. I've done my back in, but no one wants to hear about that, so I'll gloss.
Go on, tell us. Go on.
It's because Lagan keeps asking me to carry him up to bed. You know, he's 10 years old. He's like about 33 kilos or something like that. And he's, Daddy, my legs, can you carry it? So I have to carry him up to bed. And
he should be carrying you to bed.
I know he should.
The other way around.
I know. He's not that much shorter than me now. And then just to make it doubly difficult, he wriggles so he tries to make me drop him. I don't know. Don't ask me why. He does. And then it wrenches the old back a little bit. But apart from that, I'm all right. I'll tell you what as well, actually. He was very excited, Lagan, to know that you were with Travis Scott yesterday. He loves Travis Scott. Yeah. Probably shouldn't at his age, but all his little mates, they all listen to all this stuff like Central C and Travis Scott and all this lot. That's the only reason I know who he is, by the way. You're probably surprised that I know who he is.
I thought it was Dave Lee Travis. That shows you my age.
There is one called Dave. There's one called Dave.
Oh, I know there's one called Dave, yeah. H is an H.
I don't know him.
There's an H, yeah. We've had last time I was in Miami, we had Little Wayne playing here.
Drake as well, at one point.
With Drake, I was in the same restaurant as Drake.
Did you meet Travis Scott? That's the question. Did you meet him?
No, I haven't met Travis Scott. No.
Did you see him?
No, I didn't see him. Oh. But what I did do, I was awoken at 4:30 in the morning by the absolute carnage outside this window, where there was police everywhere. There was kids, I say kids, young adults from the age of 21 up to sort of our age, I suppose, screaming and shouting. There was cars going on, pibbing horns, sports cars zooming up down the road. Even the boats from going up and down the lake outside. This is 4:30, hence the reason why I couldn't sleep. I woke up.
What was that all about then?
Travis Scott. Just the clowns coming out of this Travis Scott. They just didn't go, when we go and see a concert, we walk out very peacefully, go to the train station. Not this lot. They're out zooming up their motor. Honestly, it was, and as these are obviously big windows. These are hotel big windows. I'm 8 floors above it, but 4:30 last night. And I don't know if you see the Instagram when I walked in back from the tennis last night. All of them in the crowd. I didn't see him.
I did. But I did see that.
It was carnage. Absolutely.
I always take earplugs. Top tip: you've got to take earplugs wherever you go because exactly this sort of thing. That's not a problem. I use Happy Ears earplugs. You pop them little things in. That's you done. You don't have to worry about this business.
Just another little bit of a tip here. We've got we've got Travis Scott playing here in Miami, and you're off to Butlins next week, and I'm sure that Steps
not next week.
Steps will be playing. Steps will be playing in Butlins.
Another H, of course, if he's still in it. He's in Steps, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not. It's the tribute back. Step. It's Step. It's just
one
Step.
Of them. Rather than Steps. No, that's not next week. It's Marrakesh next week. Marrakesh first.
Oh, it's America. You off to Marrakesh next week?
Yep. It's the tournament of the year. Everyone, it's the ticket there. I say ticket. It's a non-ticketed event, so it's not the ticket everybody wants because you don't need tickets. But yeah, that's a great tournament, Marrakesh. What's not to like?
We'll see what Sean has to offer over in Marrakesh. You'll be on the Instagram account at Because We Win. We've had a lot of people following the Instagram account over this trip here in Miami, so thank you very much if you have done it from this channel. If you haven't, at Because We Win on Instagram for place to go for in-play. I've had terrible problems with internet connection. I'm uploading something, it takes an hour, and I'm giving in-play bets sometimes.
That's the problem at Indian Wells.
The match is finished. Yeah, it's a bit of
I can't do it at Indian Wells. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you might be able to do something, but after that, you've got absolutely no chance. I can't even upload a photo. I can barely get a text tweet through without even a photo. It's so bad. So it's, I'm familiar with that problem. But everyone's going to be happy, aren't they? You had a good day yesterday?
Yes. It was an incredible day. We started off with you need to just opening bet to go well, and then obviously a bit of momentum goes on. We had a really bad day. Like literally, the first day of the tournament I was here, we had that terrible day where we just read everything was read perfectly, but the results didn't go our way. I had a day off. I went down to Little Havana, did a little bit of salsa, a little bit of trying a bit of food. I just chilled out completely, and then I went back in yesterday, and we got that win on the first match, Dimitrov, which could have gone either way. That set the momentum, and then everything. We got that sort of bit of a thing off our back, and then we went in. And Cerundolo last night was absolutely exceptional. I mean, the first set, he blew Tommy Paul away. Let him back a bit in the second set. Should have won easier, but then in the tie break, he was exceptional. And he plays so well, as we said, or as you said, to land us a really, really nice price.
Yeah, it was the factor there. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a few minutes. But, you saw more of that match than I did. But... there's very solid reasons for backing Cerundolo against pretty much anybody in the top 20. He's always underrated. He's been given a bit more respect today by the market, but he was a good price against Minaur in the conditions of Indian Wells, and he was a good price against Tommy Paul yesterday. And I'm probably going to go on him again today. Why not? The guy's in fire.
Let's start with that game. Let's start with that game, Sean, because you say that he's been given a bit of respect by the layers. I'm not quite sure if he has been given enough respect.
Probably not enough. I
don't think he has been yet. I mean, let's have a look at yours. Cerundolo here is -106. Casper Ruud is -118. So the market still favours the Norwegian. 1.5 is the spread, and total is 22.5. Now there has been a move since these lines opened up, and some books haven't seen that move just yet, but Bet Rivers has certainly seen that move, and he has moved into. I think he opened up at +102. He's now, down to a minus money. But I've got a sneaky feeling that he might start favourite for this match. I am not having the fact that Ruud should be favourite for this match. Now, they have met 7 times before, and Cerundolo leads 4-3 in the head-to-head record. A lot of Ruud's wins are on clay. I think he's had 2. It's 2 wins apiece on clay, actually. The last time they met, Cerundolo won in the Laver Cup. They played in the Olympics at Roland Garros, where Ruud won 6-3, 6-4. They also played in Paris on a hard court in 2023, where Cerundolo won. And I think the conditions will suit him. Just to give you a little bit of update on the conditions, today, if you're playing today, it's a really, really hot day in Miami today. Very humid. And I think it will play quick today, very quick. Tomorrow, there's a lot of rain forecast for the afternoon.
I was going to say that.
These matches are previewed for tomorrow, which is... obviously Tuesday. Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So there is a rain around, which may make this a little bit different. So the scheduling is going to be important here. There could be a bit of a rain delay from the afternoon all the way through to the early evening. There is rain expected. But on the early prices here, I think they've got the wrong favourite.
Yeah, there's certainly a strong argument to suggest that. Yeah, I mean, you've got the same weather forecast as me. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, rain, thunder showers, pretty much all afternoon and evening. It just depends where that hits and how long it hits for. But you might well get a delay. It could be you don't really want one of those ones where you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off. That because that can destroy all the momentum that your player's built up if he has built it up, which is another difficulty in betting on tennis, of course. We've got some statistics through for this tournament. Actually, I'll just quickly go through these. They're exactly the same, actually, in terms of service holds and first serve points won. The same as the average for the last 2 editions. So the conditions are basically as they were according to the statistics. Slightly more matches going over 10.5 in set 1, though. 36% so far, which equals odds of 2.78 plus 178 on that particular bet. So there's just a little update on the statistics. As far as this is concerned, I think we have to go in on Cerundolo again here, don't we?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You were there. He should have beaten Tommy Paul easily. He should have brushed him aside. But the problem with Cerundolo, which is kind of held him back, is the mental side of things. He is a little bit choky. He does sometimes think to himself and think, well, hang on, I've got a real chance of winning this. I remember him doing it against Djokovic. Was it the French Open? Might have been the French. He played Djokovic. He's done it numerous times against the top players. Got away with it last night because if he'd have lost that second set, it potentially could have been different. He should have won that by about 8 games. Straight sets, but it doesn't matter. He got there. He's playing so confidently, and he is a streaky player. When his confidence is up, he's very, very good. When it isn't, he's can get down on himself, can get low, can get moody, can get struggle. He is a player that does struggle in that sense. If you look at the head-to-head, Cerundolo's won 4 of the last 6. If you look at the stats on the 3 meetings they've had on hard courts, I know one of them was Laver Cup, but it's still a pretty big match, I suppose. Second serve points won is very interesting. 56% for Cerundolo, just 40% for Casper Ruud on hard courts. 2 of them indoor hard, and one of them was ages ago in Miami, when it was a different surface. So Cerundolo's been the better player from the back of the court by some distance in their 3 hard court meetings. Cerundolo, great record in Miami as well, as we've said. They both got good records, but Cerundolo's outstanding. 79% win rate here. Service points won and return points won, total of 106. And a service hold and break total of 114. These are kind of not far off Alcaraz at Indian Wells sort of stats. Not quite there, but not far off. Ruud, 67% win rate and a service points won and return points won, total of 102. Service hold and break total of 104. So some way behind, even though he's got a good record here, Ruud, not anywhere near the statistics that the Argentines got. And again, this is something I always come back to with Cerundolo. Last 12 months versus the current top 20. Cerundolo, 62% win rate, which is excellent. Service points won and return points won, total of 100. And a service hold and break total of 103. You know, those stats, they wouldn't look amiss in some of the top players. And I'm talking the top 2 or 3. You know, Casper Ruud, he certainly can't match that. 43% win rate. Service points won and return points won, total of 97. And a hold and break total of 94. So Cerundolo, against the best players in the world, much better results, much better statistics. The jury's a little bit out on Casper Ruud for me. I think he was certainly very fortunate, as you well know, that Kekmanovic made a mess of it. You know, he should have beaten him in straight sets. Got away with it, as Kekmanovic folded mentally, as he so often does. And then he's beaten an out-of-form Tabilo, whose confidence is absolutely nowhere at the minute. So he's done okay, obviously, to get to this stage, Ruud, but what are those? I'm not sure those 2 wins really amount to much. I think we have to take Cerundolo again here. He was even money when I looked earlier. Now he's a little bit of minus money, minus 106, but I'm still happy to take that.
I think that price will go. I genuinely believe he'll start favourite for this match. I just don't see any reason why Casper Ruud should start favourite against informed Cerundolo, who was absolutely excellent last week. Casper Ruud is very fortunate to be in the last 16 in this tournament, and I think Francisco Cerundolo, as is Sean, will be a winner for us on Tuesday. Next up, undoubtedly the star of Miami 2025, Gael Monfils takes on Sebastian Korda. Monfils is plus 110 to win this match because Sebastian Korda is minus 137. Sebastian Korda trails 1-0 in the head-to-head. Monfils won in the 2025 Indian Wells only last week, 7-6, 7-6. It's been quite incredible, Gael Monfils, this tournament, Sean. I mean, I've been watching his game, or having watched his games. I've been in the stadium when he's been playing. And the cheers, you know exactly how he's doing well. Last night I was watching the Andreeva match against Anisimova, which was a decent match. But the crowd, you could hear them from the Monfils going mad, allez, Monfils, which I thought was surprising, really, because Munar's a Spanish guy. There's a lot of Latin Americans over here. I thought they might be with the Spaniard. But Monfils matches have been electric. And if you're up against one person who might get a little bit nervy in that kind of atmosphere, it's going to be Sebastian Korda here. But Monfils, the star, I think he's the oldest player ever to reach the last 16 here in Miami, rolling back the years with some incredible performances here. So this is quite an interesting matchup, this one.
I think this could be absolutely anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's so many variables in this. I mean, you've got to conclude that Gael Monfils should be exhausted, you would think. All that energy that you talked about from the crowd and from him. All 3 matches he's played so far in Miami have been 3 sets. He's been on court for 6.5 hours so far, compared to Korda, who's done 2 hours and 46 minutes. So that's a pretty big difference, bearing in mind that he's going to be 39 in September, Gael Monfils. He might be able to get away with that if he was 24 or something, but I would be very worried of taking Gael Monfils here, given everything that he's been through here at this tournament so far. Similar thing happened to him at the Australian Open. He was playing great, played 3 long matches, then he had to retire in round 4. I think it was against Ben Shelton. Just didn't have anything left in the tank. I know this is a shorter format, not 5 sets, but it's still a big old effort for someone of his age. You know, he should have lost that match to Joao Minaur, who yet again failed in a final set tiebreak. I talked about this with Minaur the last time we spoke about him. He loses an awful lot of matches that he should win, particularly in final set tiebreaks. I mean, he served for the match, but not even close to serving it out. Ended up losing quite a lot of the last sort of dozen points. I think he lost 11 out of the last 12 or something like that. So another failure from Joao Minaur. His statistics are great. He's been worth backing, but certainly he's someone that you would want to lay if they're serving for the match in that sort of situation. That's for sure. As far as Gael's concerned, obviously he beat Korda last week. Well, nearly 2 weeks ago now. Indian Wells won 80% of his first serve points in what were some very slow conditions there in the desert, and it's his serve that's been doing it for him this year, which is kind of surprising because he's normally pretty good on serve and pretty good on return. Now his statistics are saying he's a bit of a serve bot, which is something that I wouldn't have expected from Gael Monfils. But so this season, outdoor hard at main level, Monfils 89% holds of serve and 79% first serve points won, which is very, very impressive indeed. But he's only winning 33.8% of return points, and consequently he's playing 0.36 tie breaks per set, which is unlike anything he's done in his career before. The scheduling will be important here for sure, as will Monfils' energy levels. You're kind of going to have to guess, which is something I don't like betting in Monfils matches anyway, because he is so unpredictable. But you throw in this fatigue factor, makes it very tricky. I would say I'm certainly tempted by the set one overs here. I haven't seen the price, actually, but I could look at that in a second. But set one over 10.5 games would be tempting, given how well he's serving, given how comparatively poorly he's returning, given also that he played a couple of tiebreaks against Korda and Indian Wells. I know there were breaks of serve in that. It wasn't just straight holds to a tiebreak. There were breaks of serve in it. The other option is back Korda to win it by 2-1. And then you're bringing in this sort of fatigue factor, where in the sense that they can share a couple of sets, Monfils fading away a little bit as it gets towards the sort of 2.5, 2 3/4 hour mark, 2.5 hour mark. If that's the case, then you would certainly be tempted. I certainly would be scared back in Korda at -137. It's just the kind of situation where his brain, as you said, it might kick in and all of a sudden he goes AWOL. He's not the most stable mentally when it comes to serving out sets and matches. So I think this is very difficult, but I think set one overs or the 2-1 to Korda would be the two ways I would look to play this match.
I'm looking at the Bet Rivers website now, plus 280 for a 2-1 Korda win. And if you want to go set one overs, plus over 10.5 is plus 170. If you want to be a little bit more daring, over 12.5, a tie break, when you consider that both of their match last couple of last tournament in Indian Wells, 2 sets, 2 tie breaks in slow conditions. A tie-break in set number 1 is plus 285. Wouldn't put anybody off that. But let me tell you something. I mean, I think it's a better advantage for Monfils to be playing on one of the outside courts because it's more intimate. The crowd go ballistic. Last night it was scheduled. The reason the last match on the outside court is the one that is brilliant because it's all the
rowdy,
people,
is it?
And it's all the people who've still got the day ticket. So they want to watch some tennis, so they go in. All the people who've got the evening ticket are on the show courts, and then they hang around and see where they can go. And the last match on is absolutely crazy atmosphere. If you look at all the night matches, they're the ones that have been wild. So for Gael Monfils bettors, I think you want to be on an outside court. Last match on will be great. If he goes on the centre court, which is bigger, people have lunch, hospitality, corporate area. It doesn't get so the atmosphere isn't so good. For Monfils bettors, you want to be outside. The Korda bettors, you want to be on a show court, but on the show court. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I bumped into James Blake yesterday as well. He was he was having some dinner in the area I was in, a little chat with him. So he passed on his regards. He's looking at absolutely $1 million. I'm unshaven.
He remembers me, does he? That's nice.
He remembers us, yeah. Of course he remembers us. He knew us.
There's no of course about it. He might not.
He knew us. He mentioned he knew our names. He mentioned our names, and he looked an absolute $1 million. I mean,
he always does.
Out dressed, he's immaculate, and there's me.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, it's me unshaven. Bits drinking a Canistella,
yeah.
Bit of cheese on my chin. It wasn't ideal. All right, let's move on to our next match. Grigor Dimitrov is up against Brandon Nakashima. Dimitrov, as we said at the top of the show, was very fortunate to get through, but we did catch a ticket on him. Nakashima didn't play that great. He was a bit nervy up against David Goffin, especially when he lost the set 2. It was a breakdown in the third, and then he come back and blew the Goffin away. Goffin obviously probably exhausted mentally and physically after that win against Alcaraz. But Dimitrov is a heavy favourite in -182, spread 2.5, and total here is 23.5. Dimitrov must be shattered after that match. Took a lot out of him, and the market has started to move towards the American here. There's a bit of money for Nakashima. They met twice before, but they were both in 2022. One on a clay court, one at the US Open, which Nakashima won in straight sets. But we know that Dimitrov has a brilliant record here in Miami. But Brandon Nakashima has got a good chance, given the fact that Dimitrov went all the way against Khachanov.
Yeah, I thought Dimitrov. I mean, Dimitrov certainly deserved to win the match against Khachanov. He was dominating as far as the stats were concerned. He just couldn't get the break. The first set, he made an absolute mess of it. I think he won something like 82% on his first serve, and 84% on his first serve, and something like 82% on his second serve. Didn't face a break point, and he lost the set. And he lost the set because his nerve went, as it so often does. But with both these guys, and that's where I'm going to go with this, I think. Dimitrov, when he gets nervous, the ball toss goes a bit peculiar, a bit like Shapovalov. And you can just see it coming. I think he double faulted, if I remember rightly. He hadn't double faulted the entire match. Well, that was only one set. But he double faulted in the first point of the tiebreak. And then he double faulted again, sort of midway through the tiebreak, which basically gave, and he made another couple of errors as well, which basically gave Khachanov a set that he didn't really deserve. And then he had to go the long way. Ended up winning. Should have broken about 3 times in the third set, Dimitrov. The amount of times he had 15-30 and either didn't fashion a break point or, didn't take the break point. Ended up, it deserved win, but he certainly did it the hard way. But he looked shattered. He was breathing heavily. He didn't look fully fit to me. That would worry me about backing him at -182 here. He looked tired. But both these guys get nervous in the key moments. Nakashima, I've talked about many, many times, doesn't take his chances. Does get tight when the big points come around in tie breaks. If you look at the head-to-head, 2 matches, it's actually Nakashima that leads the head-to-head service points won and return points won totals over their 2 meetings, 101-99, which is interesting. As I said, both have been, and even in this matchup, they've both been below par on the big points, which is kind of a trend for them. Nakashima's only taken 22% of his breakpoint chances across those 2 meetings. Dimitrov only 31%. So it's a theme here. I wouldn't trust either of these guys in the tight situation, particularly Nakashima, but Dimitrov as well. This Miami, Dimitrov so far, 100% holds of serve, 81% first serve points won. Nakashima, similarly impressive on serve, 87% holds, 80% first serve points won. So given that the guys have very impressive serving stats in these quick conditions, and they struggle to break serve, they struggle to convert break points, it's kind of an obvious play to go set one overs again here, plus 145 with Bet Rivers. I couldn't back Dimitrov at -182 in this matchup. He hasn't been fit a lot this season. Getting towards the latter stages of his career, didn't look like he had much energy left against Khachanov. So definitely not him. But yeah, set one overs is a possibility. It's going to be a tight and nervy one. This is going to be settled on a couple of points, you feel, and whoever holds their nerve is probably going to win it.
Yeah, and remember, if you do have a bet on that match or any of the matches with Bet Rivers, you'll be able to watch it on the Bet Rivers website, live stream on the website and the app, Bet Live and Watch Live with Bet Rivers. Our final match we are going to discuss today is the match between Novak Djokovic, who's now the tournament favourite with Bet Rivers, up against Lorenzo Musetti. Now, I looked at this last night and I thought to myself, well, this could be a potential upset because Lorenzo Musetti usually gives Novak Djokovic a tough challenge. I didn't realise he held a 7-1 career head-to-head lead, but I remember 3 matches between these two. Famous matches at French Open where Musetti he was 2-0 up and then he burst on. He was a young kid. He burst on the scene. He was 2-0 up and then he had to retire injured when Djokovic came back. I remember the French Open before he was 2-1 up and then Djokovic did a similar story. And I remember going to Monte Carlo 2 years ago and I watched Musetti take the first set, and Djokovic ground him down again. All three were on clay, but he's given, even though the head-to-head is overwhelmingly in favour of Novak Djokovic, he's given Musetti Musetti's given him some tough challenges, and that was a peak Novak Djokovic then, not the Novak Djokovic version we see here. Minus 305 for Djokovic, plus 235 for Musetti. Spread here is 3.5, total 21.5. Djokovic is hard to sort of suss him out really in this tournament. It's like, because he's won easy in the first set, 6-love and 6-1, then gone through a tie-breaking set 2. You don't know whether he's playing in first gear and he's got any other gears to go into, or this is Djokovic's level at this moment in time. So I think this is a real difficult match to call. But my first impressions here are the games look cheap, and my second impression here is I give Musetti a chance.
Yeah, he's given him some decent matches in the past, but never really, very rarely, only once has been able to get over the line. I mean, I'll be seething if Musetti makes the final here the week after we had him in Indian Wells.
Well, he will. You know, it's going to happen. That's what happens on this show.
It's what happens in tennis betting generally, isn't it? You back a guy, bombs out in the first or second round. A week later, he wins the title or makes the final. It's happened so many times. Yeah, I was impressed that he managed to beat Felix in those conditions, but I feel like that was an injured Felix. He had a lot of physical issues in that match. Did Auger-Aliassime against Musetti? I'm not convinced about Djokovic either, though. I mean, he's faced two opponents here that were scared of him.
Yeah,
let's be honest, Hijikata and Ugo Carabelli, but both matches went the same way. Very tight and nervous starts from both of them, but once they relaxed, having lost the opening set, 6-love and 6-1, I think it was. The second set, when they were playing their actual normal game and not worrying about playing the legend, they really tested him. Yeah, he ended up a tie-breaking both, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's already lost this season to Opelka, Berrettini, Van der Zandschulp. You wouldn't expect a peak Djokovic to lose to any of them, really. They shouldn't even have been close based on Djokovic's sort of prior level. I know he's not played that much in injuries and whatever. His statistics are still pretty good, Djokovic. 69% win rate this year at main level. Service points won and return points won, total of 107.5. Musetti's actually got a better win rate by 1%, 70% win rate. And the service points won and return points won, total of 104.4. So he's not a million miles away, which is why the prices are close-ish. The last meeting they had as well, it was the Olympics, wasn't it? We had Musetti at a very big price then, didn't we? 100 and something to 1. And he'd got to the final of UMAG, and I think he had to play the Olympics about a day or two later, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he still managed to get to the semi-finals. I don't think he had a lot to offer in the semi-finals, so that match was perhaps a little bit misleading. But if you look at the head-to-head in the last 12 months, 109 to 91 in favour of Djokovic in terms of service points won and return points won totals. Djokovic, the big thing for Djokovic, he's not had any problem with Musetti's serve. He's winning 46% of return points. I know a couple of them were on clay. One of them was on grass, though. Perhaps the grass meeting is maybe more relevant, so I took a look at that. Again, Djokovic's serve, 88% holds in that match, Novak Djokovic. Musetti struggling on the return, created only one breakpoint chance every 4 Djokovic service games. So struggled on the quicker conditions to effectively return the Novak serve. What's interesting here is their last 5 opening sets have gone to at least 10 games, and 4 of those were on clay. Djokovic does look hungry to me. He looks like he's up for this tournament. I'm still not convinced he's playing his best tennis. Again, at the risk of being repetitive, I quite like the over 10.5 in set 1 here, it was plus 225 earlier with Bet Rivers. I'm not sure what it is now, but I think that's a pretty big price based on what's tended to happen when these two have met, which is Musetti challenging early, as you said, but not being able to last the distance. So that's probably where I would go with this one. But I think it's a tricky one. This.
I got quite a feeling Musetti could beat him. I think the market's gone crazy.
I hope you're right.
I think the market's gone crazy with Djokovic. I don't believe he should be the favourite to win this tournament. I think he's been rated by the bookmakers on an old version of Novak Djokovic, not the version we've seen. And I'm not quite sure that he, like you say, I think the first 2 matches he played, Rinky Hijikata was petrified on that first match. He got blown away 6-0, made so many mistakes, and then he should have won the second set. Then he had a different match, but I just got a feeling.
Same with Ugo Carabelli.
Yeah, I just got to think Djokovic may be a little bit at minus 305. Yeah, I mean if this was 2 years ago, it'd be minus $7 Djokovic. So the market has changed it, but I don't think he should be favourite to win the tournament. I think he's beatable in this tournament. Just one thing I'm going to ask you before we go, Sean. Before we go, I'm going to the tennis tonight, and you can follow me on Instagram. It's the evening session, and I'm going to go tonight. And the big game of the evening, this will be live before that match starts. I just want to know your opinion on the big match. It's an interesting match from a betting perspective. Alex de Minaur against Joao Fonseca. It's virtually a pick and match now with Bet Rivers. And I suppose it's one of them things that you think to yourself, well, Alex de Minaur at the price he is potentially could be a bet, or is this young kid the real deal? And I'm looking. I was looking at betting Fonseca at even money. It seems naughty of me to be betting Fonseca at even money against a player who's a top 10 opponent. But I tell you what, I think tonight will be the atmosphere there. You're talking about Monfils matches. The Brazilian flags will be out in force tonight, and it will be crazy atmosphere this evening.
I think this is a difficult one. I mean, he's 18 years of age. I mean, he played brilliant against Humbert. We know Humbert isn't keen on playing in the US and whatever, but I don't think he had a great deal. That had a great deal to do with it. You know, Fonseca was great, but he's not going to be great every match at 18 years of age. If we're coming out and expecting it, what are the odds, incidentally? Is he Fonseca's slight favourite?
No, Fonseca's an underdog, but only marginal. It's about even money.
Okay, when I looked earlier, I thought I saw Fonseca as a slight favourite, but...
well, it may have changed. I mean, last night when I was looking at the market, it was let me have a look. I'll find you the latest one. Alex de Minaur was minus 120, Fonseca minus 104.
Okay. I think if you're backing Fonseca, I would back him to win it in style. I can't see him winning a real tough, long physical battle against someone like de Minaur. Conditions do suit de Minaur here. You know, quick, low bouncing, a slick court. This is what he likes. But he can be blown away by top quality power hitting, which is what Fonseca can do on his day. I haven't really looked into this one too much, but I wouldn't be backing. I think I would go with Fonseca 2-0 or something like that.
Yeah. If
you are going to back him, I wouldn't back him on the money line at that sort of price. It just doesn't feel like value to me. I think if you're going on pure statistical value, you would probably have to back de Minaur. But it's a difficult one because we don't know how good Fonseca can be. We know what he is. Sometimes he's very, 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 very good, but he doesn't play like that every match. It's impossible. So, and someone like de Minaur could sort of coax the errors out of him.
I think you look at the prices when you're not at the venue, and you look at the price and think, oh, Alex de Minaur is a bet here. But when you're actually at a tournament, you've been at a tournament for a long time, you get the vibe of the people. You get the vibe, you know. You would have seen it from when you go to these tournaments. Well, this is it's got a feeling of a US Open here. It's like a sort of a Latin American US Open.
Yeah,
and it's got that kind of, the evening session is very, very similar to the nights under Arthur Ashe what I've experienced, and I think the atmosphere is very different. And when you got someone like Fonseca, I think that he's going to go along with that atmosphere, and he's going to have so much support here. And I think that'll get him through. But it looks a horrible bet to take. You know, it's one of them bets the more you think, oh, why did I take minus money?
Yeah. If he loses, you'll be thinking, why'd I back him? Yeah.
But just being
minus money.
But actually being here, you're going in with the hype with this kid. And, you know, and they're very similar to Monfils. You're going along thinking that's going to take him a long way. And when you're away from the tournament, you don't sort of see that kind of side of things. But that's one of the beauties and the good things about coming along here or to any of these tournaments. You actually see which way the atmosphere is going. But Fonseca tonight is going to be box office. There's some other big matches tonight as well. Artur Fils, one of our pre-tournament picks as well. He's up against Francis Tiafoe, which will be another incredible match today. Yeah. Head across to the Bet Rivers website there. That's almost a pick and match as well. Head across to the Bet Rivers website. You'll be able not only the matches for tomorrow, but the matches for today as well. And while you're heading over the places, click that subscribe button here. And also go across to the Because We Win Instagram account where you'll be able to see all the content that I'll be providing from my final day over here in Miami. That's it for today. We'll be getting one more in, I think, later in the week when I return. I'll be back in London on Wednesday, maybe Wednesday when I get back to London, providing I can get back to London with this. I don't know what the knock-on effect is with the Heathrow Airport at the moment, is it? Well, it should be all right
I
now.
think it's all right now.
Yeah, we'll
think
find
it's all right
out.
now.
I'm hoping you're going to say no. You can't come back for another 3 days. It'd be brilliant.
Okay, you can't come back for another 3 days.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'll see you next week. That's been it for today. Enjoy your day. Hopefully we catch some tickets. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going from yesterday. Some nice plays there. Before we go, Sean, just give us a wrap up what the official plays are for tomorrow here in Miami.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Cerundolo again. I think he's the strongest play. I think he's about -104, I think, now. This is a changing market. I think he's a shade of odds on at the minute, 1.95, 1.96, something like that. That's my bet for tomorrow.
Yeah, a big. I like that as well. So Cerundolo is the bet for us tomorrow over here against a Casper Ruud who shouldn't even be in the last 16, but he is here. Cerundolo's playing lights out tennis, and we expect that to continue. Okay, take care. See you all again soon.